Hello everyone, welcome back to Dakota's Political Circle, and today guys, I wanted to actually bring up some bad news for you because this is kind of rare for this channel, but something actually happened which really sucks. But if you guys know, the Wisconsin Supreme Court race actually happened recently, as well as some Florida races as well that were for House. And they were basically special election, and a lot of people were excited because a lot of people thought it was going to be very interesting when it came to Wisconsin. I mean, at least somewhat interesting, because Wisconsin is, a somewhat close state when it comes to, electorally speaking, when like at least presidential years. And you would think at least it would be very close. And like so many Republicans were getting in on it, so many Dems were getting in on it, and also the Supreme Court race in general would basically give a majority to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which is massive given the state's circumstances. And Elon Musk donated a lot of money to the Republican candidate, so a lot of people were really excited. But the sad part is, if you're looking at the screen right now, with 99% of the vote in, the Republican got absolutely crushed. And I think this is a lot worse than a lot of people were letting on. Like, some Republicans are saying, like, this isn't a bad thing. Like, this isn't awful. But you guys got to remember, in an election year, for some reason, Republicans always turn out, no matter what, in Wisconsin. And they win the state. They literally win the state for, Donald Trump. And they almost win when it comes to the Senate. Like, they get very close. But then when, like a special election, a midterm comes, they literally get absolutely crushed every single time. If you look at other times that has happened in the past with many states, for some reason, Republicans just do not turn out when it comes to special elections and midterm elections. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think it's mainly because when Trump is not on the ballot, Republicans don't want to turn out. And I'm kind of worried about that, because when the 2028 election does end up coming up, Trump's not going to be on the ballot. Like, he's just not going to be on the ballot unless, somehow, some way, Don Jr., ends up winning the nomination, which isn't going to happen. It's probably going to be J.D. Vance. And if there's no Trump on the ballot, I honestly don't see a lot of turnout happening, and that's kind of what I'm worried about. Now, I do think Vance is probably going to win in 2028 if he does end up running, but it's not going to be. It's probably going to be closer than a lot of people think, because Trump is a figure that Republicans get out to vote for. And just looking at this Wisconsin Supreme Court race, that honestly Republicans thought was going to be at least competitive, at least within 5. But quite literally, it was a huge demolishment by the Democrat over the Republican. Like if you look at all these, like even in Racine, this was a county that voted pretty well for Donald Trump, and it literally got won by the Democrat. Like, it just shows that turnout is not showing up for Republicans when it comes to special elections, and just special elections, and just, midterm elections. It's just something, for some reason, Republicans always struggle with. It's really sad to see, because these are the times we really need. Luckily, we, won the House and won the Senate, but when it comes to the midterms, they're going to be coming up very soon. Very soon, they're going to end up coming up, and when they do come up, it's going to be very difficult, because Trump's not on the ballot. And if you don't have a really good polling lead, Republicans can easily lose those races, because for some odd reason, we suck when it comes to not having Trump on the ballot. Now, I know some people might argue with me and say, oh, this is just a special election. It's not like it's the midterms or anything like that. It's an actual special election. And which is true, but this race was talked about literally a lot on social media. There was massive turnout for this, just a special election. And the Republicans still got demolished. Like, it's just pitiful. And it's really sad to see. And then looking at other issues, this is probably the only win. This is the only win of the whole entire night at all, which honestly isn't too much of a big win, and I'll tell you exactly why. So basically, Wisconsin was voting on voter ID, but they already had voter ID in place. They were more or less just voting on it because it would make it it would make it harder for the requirement to be removed by courts or legislature. So it did pass very, very well, like 62%, which is kind of sad because, 62% went to that, but, 45% went to Brad Schmidt. Like, come on now. But basically, almost every single county voted for that question, which is awesome. But the reason I say it's not too significant is it wasn't like they were voting on it to make it become law. They were just voting on it to confirm that that's what the people want. It wasn't really, something new. It was more or less like it was more or less just saying if the people still support this law, which I'm glad they do, but it's still not anything significant. So it's not like a huge win or anything. And obviously this race happened too. Honestly, this was closer, which is surprising. The Republican got closer with the superintendent race than with the actual within the actual Supreme Court race, which is just crazy. And I also want to show you some other things as well. These and what's sad is you'll see in a second. When it comes to Florida, this is pretty pathetic as well, and I'll show you exactly why. So let me bring up this. Okay. So when it comes to Florida, you got Randy Fine. Now, the Republicans did win these races. They did win, which is good. But I'll show you exactly why it's not a good thing, how they won. So Randy Fine did win 56% to 42%, which is good that he actually won. But if I show you right here, I think this is the right one. So District 6. Yeah. So basically, if you look right here, on Election Day in November, this district went for Trump by plus 30. And then tonight, not tonight, when this election happened in this special election, he only won by plus 14. So a massive drop off. It basically shows that Republicans will not turn out for they just won't turn out when it comes to special elections or midterms, honestly, and it's really pitiful to see. And if you see the party registration that did turn out, like plus 21 for Republican, plus 9 early for Republican, which isn't great. Election day plus R35, but then altogether it's pretty close here, like 57-43 turnout. It's just crazy. And if you look at the other one, which was Jimmy Patronis, I think this was actually the worst one here. I'll look in a second, but 56% to 42%. But if you look down here, yeah, this was even worse. So it's an R plus 37 district that got won by Trump. It only won by R plus 15. It got a literal major drop off. These counties should be massively going for the Republicans no matter what. And literally this district right here even went for the Democrat. This specific portion right here. It's just crazy that Republicans just will not turn out in these special elections, which is honestly surprising when you think about it. You would think the Republicans would turn out more when it comes to special elections than Democrats. But for some odd reason, it's the exact opposite. And this is really not a good thing for the Republican Party going forward. If the midterms happen and this actually does end up happening, you're going to be seeing Georgia, even if Brian Kemp's in the lead, if he's actually running, if you see Georgia versus Ossoff, Georgia and you see Ossoff versus Brian Kemp, and if Brian Kemp's only up by R plus 5 or something, if this happened like on a state level, then Brian Kemp would lose. Or if he was up by plus 10, plus 8 maybe, he could still lose, because it just shows that Republicans are not showing up for special and midterm elections. And that's what I really worry about. But I did want to talk to you guys about that today, just to talk about it, because I know it's really important to talk about. Because Republicans are just not showing out when it comes to the special elections, and if they do the same in the midterms, then it's going to be a massive, massive disappointment. And you got to remember, this District 1 was Matt Gaetz' district. This was Matt Gaetz' district that he would always win big by. And you get someone else in there, even if it's an unproven Republican, it's still Matt Gaetz' district. So you see it not even get by plus 30. It's just crazy. I would have been fine with R plus 25, but you literally get a You literally get, if I show you right here, you literally get a R plus 15. Like that's just insane. It's like an R plus 37 districts, and you only get R plus 15. Like that's just insane to me. But that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I just wanted to talk about how it's just, pathetic how Republicans are turning out in these special elections. I just want to talk about it because it's just not a good thing. Republicans need to get out the vote when it comes to these special elections because they're very, very important. I mean, look, think about it. If any of these went for a Democrat at all, like if one of these districts went for a Democrat, the House would shrink. So it's not a good thing at all. Not a good thing whatsoever. And then when you look at the Wisconsin race that I just showed you, this is just literally, sickening. It's just awful to see this. Literally a state that got won by Trump, and the Senate itself was very close to flipping Republican. And then at the Supreme Court level, the state Supreme Court, you get a massive disappointment. It really doesn't make any sense at all. It's literally just turnout. I really don't see it because of anything besides that. I think it's just turnout, and people just don't want to vote unless Trump's on the ballot, which is really depressing. But yeah, I did want to talk to you guys about that today, even though it's not like huge news. I just want to talk about it because it is something we need to talk about. Because when the midterms do come, we have to get out to vote no matter what. No matter if you're in like a state that has like an R plus 30. Because if you saw those numbers in Florida, you could very well, if you were like in an R plus 10, R plus 15 district, you could very much like actually lose your seat if you don't turn out. So you really need to get out to vote when you have to. Even if you're in a district with R plus 15, you need to get out to vote because it just shows that you could literally lose your district. Because these Democrats are getting out to vote way more often than the Republicans are, just because Trump's not on the ballot. But anyway, guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. This video is probably a little bit late, and I will have another video out I think in like the next 2 days. It'll be about the reciprocal tariffs that just got released today. I'll be talking about that in my next video. I'm not sure when my next video will be out after that because it just really depends on what comes up in the media, everything like that. You just never know. And also when I have time. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about this. I feel awful about this. Like, this is just literally stupid that this is going this way. But anyway, guys, just let me know in the comments how you feel about it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.